Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Matthew Feeney, Matthew, Feeney.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a police officer for the city of New Richmond.
And were you previously employed by the Dunn County Sheriff's Office?
Yes,
How long did you work for the Dunn County Sheriff's Office?
approximately 18 years.
On March 23rd of 2018, were you assigned to utilize your drone to assist with an investigation?
Yes,
Do you recall what type of drone you utilized?
it's a DJI Mavic.
And can you briefly describe the drone and how it works for the jury?
Sure. DJI Mavic is a foldable drone. It's got an onboard camera that live feeds back to the remote. So it's called a quadcopter. It's got 4 different propellers. Copter. It has 4 different propellers. It's controlled by a handheld unit similar to what you would see like driving a radio-controlled car. However, the iPhone is interfaced with that, so you get live time footage of what the drone is seeing, and you can control the drone to have video or photographs taken at a push of a button.
And when you were asked to utilize the drone on March 23rd, 2018, was that after a body was located?
Yes,
And was it prior to the crime scene unit arriving?
yes, I believe so.
And so do you recall approximately what time that was you arrived to fly the drone?
I don't recall exactly what time, but it was dusk. I had about 10 minutes of flight time before it got dark.
And did you have an opportunity to review your drone footage from March 23rd, 2018 before
Yeah.
coming into court today?
Yes,
And I believe there's no objection, so I move Exhibit 271 into evidence.
All right, no objection.
Request to publish the drone for the jury.
Exhibit 271 will be received, and you may publish it to the jury.
I guess let me ask you, did you start on the roadway on 430th Avenue?
yes,
And had you walked back yourself to the crime scene area?
at that time I had not.
So I'm going to play 271 now. And so you indicated you only had a short amount of time before it was dark, is that right?
Correct.
And so did you return back the next day?
Yes, I believe I was asked to come back by Deputy Dennis Reed to come do another scene flight.
And did you have an opportunity to review the drone disc from the following day, March 24th of 2018, before
Yes.
coming into court? Is it an accurate copy of the drone footage you took?
Yes,
Move Exhibit 272 into evidence.
No objection. All right, Exhibit 272 will be received.
I'd like to publish that for the jury.
Agreed. All right, that'll be played.
Okay, and in Exhibit 272, that was after the crime lab had processed the scene?
Correct.
And is that also, was the car still there?
The car was not there at that time.
I also have a number of pictures to show you. And you reviewed these prior to coming into court today?
Yes.
Provide you with a copy so you have some in front of you. I don't believe there's an objection, so I'd move exhibits 273 to 277, as well as exhibits 528 to 529 into evidence.
So 273 to 277. Any objection to those exhibits being received? No objection. All right, exhibits 273 through 277 will be received. Also, exhibits 528 and 529 will be received.
Request to publish those photographs as well for the jury.
No objection. All right, go ahead, you may.
So starting with exhibit 273, did you utilize the drone to also take photographs that day?
Yes.
And since the car is still there, was this photograph taken on March 23rd, 2018?
Yes, this would have been from the first drone flight.
Also showing exhibit 274. What is that a photograph of?
That is a photograph of the vehicle in the crime scene aerial shot.
And then exhibit 275. What is this a photograph of?
This is at looking back towards the crime scene from the roadway, approximately 300 to 400 feet in the air.
And was this taken on March 24th, 2018?
Yes, this would have been from the second drone flight.
Exhibit 276. What is that a photograph of?
Same as the previous photograph, just canted off to the east a bit further.
And 277?
277 is now looking back towards the direction of the first two photographs from the crime scene, looking back towards the roadway.
I don't think it, there we go. And then exhibit 528, what is that a photograph of?
Photograph of the vehicle in the crime scene.
Also utilizing the drone?
Correct.
And 529?
Same vehicle, just taken from the front of the vehicle towards the roadway.
Okay. Thank you, I'm done with the projector. Mr. Feeney, on March 24th of 2018, do you recall conducting a grid search of the crime scene area?
Yes.
Was there anything in particular that you were looking for?
At that point, I believe we were still looking for a possible weapon that may have been used, as well as a cell phone.
And do you recall locating something?
Yes.
And what did you locate?
I located two items. One was a knife, and the other was what appeared to be the back of a cell phone.
May I approach?
You may.
Showing you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 282. If you would be able to kind of show the jury how you were searching along 430th Avenue when you were looking for those items?
Sure. I was assigned the south ditch. There was an officer assigned the middle and then one on the north ditch, and we proceeded from east to west, looking at the ground area.
I show you exhibit 283. Have you seen this before?
I have not.
I'll show you first.
Knife and possible footprint?
No, I think there was a second.
Okay. Two different cell phones.
Judge, I guess if she wants to ask him a question, she can, but I don't think it's appropriate to have
Sure.
a private conversation in the middle of the trial up there.
Okay, I'm
All right.
showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 283. Despite not seeing this before today, can you show for the jury where you located the knife?
The knife is located here, just west of the driveway.
And then do you recall locating a portion of a cell phone?
Yes, I believe the back of the cell phone is this object here.
Thank you. And what, if anything, did you do when you located the knife that day?
It was photographed as well as I sketched the knife on a notepad, and then Sergeant McRoberts took measurements, approximate measurements, because we didn't want to touch the knife, and I documented those as well on the sketch.
And did you touch any portion of a cell phone that was located?
No.
No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Prior to your using the drone and going up to the scene, you were at Mr. Sippel's house on March 22nd. is that right?
Objection. Exceeds the scope.
There's no such legal objection.
Well, I'm going to overrule the objection, so you can go ahead, it's cross-examination, but again, I'm going to maybe tighten up a little bit if you're getting off into areas that are, in the court's opinion, not appropriate cross-examination for this particular witness. So go ahead.
You arrived at Farmer Sippel's residence on March 22nd, 2018, is that right?
Correct.
Prior to your arrival, there were other people already there, right?
Correct.
Mr. Sippel, the homeowner, was there?
Yes.
Wisconsin State Patrol Officer Timothy Knutson was already there?
Yes, I believe so.
Dunn County Sheriff's Deputy Emmer Shields was already there?
Correct.
And then you arrived, is that right?
Correct.
And then about the same time that you arrived, another officer from the Dunn County Sheriff's Department, Greg Moen, arrived, is that right?
Deputy Moen, yes.
And Deputy Moen's actually a gentleman sitting over there to my left, is that right?
That's correct.
You were there before EMT ambulance people arrived, is that right?
Correct.
And you drove your squad there?
Yes.
And your squad is equipped like all of the Dunn County, or most all of the Dunn County Sheriff's Departments with the recording device, is that right?
Correct.
And so your being there is both audio and video recorded, is that right?
It should be.
Have you had a chance to review that?
I have not.
But you know that you press record or it automatically records when you turn the lights on?
It automatically records when we turn the lights on.
And you know that there was a recording of that event, agreed?
Correct.
And the video shows just the squad cam, the view as if you were in the middle of the car looking out the front window, is that right?
Correct.
So the video from your squad cam would not show any of your contact with Ms. McCandless from a visual standpoint, agreed?
Correct.
But you carry the mic with you on your person, is that right?
Yes.
And so the audible can be picked up no matter, essentially, if you're in a certain area, it picks up the audio, is that right?
As long as you're within range, yes.
And then that entire interaction that you had at Mr. Sippel's, when you were in the vicinity of Ms. McCandless, you were within range, is that right?
I don't know, but I would assume.
Okay. Based upon your experience with the range in the past, you were well within that area, right?
Correct. Should have been.
And in preparation for this, the state has never played you that recording?
No.
Do you recall at least two times that day when you were in the presence of Ms. McCandless, or very soon after, you're using the term "she's hysterical"?
I'd have to see the video, but if that's what I said on the video, then that's what I said.
Is that accurate with your remember of what you remember seeing and hearing?
Yes.
She appeared hysterical,
Yes.
crying
Yes.
uncontrollably,
Yes.
shaking.
Yes.
In fact, at the time, you were wondering whether she'd been involved in a motor vehicle accident, is that right?
That's correct.
Partly because you didn't know if she had a head injury, correct?
Correct.
That's all.
Any redirect?
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Officer Feeney. You may step down.
Could you tell us your name, please? Spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
Cory Streeter, Cory Streeter.
And how are you currently employed, sir?
Currently employed by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
And did you have a different employment as of March of 2018?
Yes, I was employed as a detective with the City of Eau Claire Police Department.
And in what capacity were you employed with the City of Eau Claire Police Department at that time?
I was assigned to the detective division.
And on March, or in March of 2018, did you have some specific involvement in the investigation of the matter related that we're here for?
Yes, I did.
And specifically, were you asked at some point in time to attempt to obtain surveillance video from, actually, let's back up a second. Were you familiar with where the body of Alex Woodworth was found?
Yes, I was.
And where was that?
I was with the group of investigators that located that in Dunn County.
And was that on 530th Avenue?
Yes, that's the approximate location.
And were you also familiar with the location where Alex Woodworth was last seen, that being his residence located in the city of Eau Claire?
Yes, I was.
And were you familiar with the most logical route from that location to 530th Avenue?
Yes.
Or 430th, I'm sorry. I think I said 530th. And what was that most logical route?
The most logical route out of the city of Eau Claire would have been along Cameron Street, which turns into West Cameron Street, and then it proceeds to turn into County Road E out into Dunn County.
All right. And did you go along that route and attempt to find if there were any businesses that had surveillance cameras that covered any of that route?
Yes, I did.
Were you able to find any that had surveillance cameras that were working at that time that were along that route?
The locations that had working surveillance were at the Auto Value, which is at the intersection of Cameron and Claremont in Eau Claire. And there was also a West Wisconsin Telecom location, which was out approximately 7 miles east of the location that the vehicle was located. Those are the primary locations that we located video.
All right. And were you able to find any relevant video on any of those surveillance systems?
No, the West Wisconsin Telecom did not record. That was motion activated and did not record any vehicles passing by that location. And the Auto Value, we did recover information. However, the distance that video was from the street where a vehicle would have passed by was far away, and it's you could not see any images from that distance.
All right. And are you familiar with the Milestone public camera system in the city of Eau Claire?
Yes.
All right. And we already heard a little bit about that, but did you have occasion to review Milestone camera videos to attempt to find the defendant's vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And in doing that, were you able to find that vehicle on that system at any point in time?
Yes, I did.
What was the first camera that you were able to find the vehicle that the defendant was driving on?
The first time the vehicle was located entering the city on that date was at approximately 10:41 a.m. at the intersection of Galloway and Farwell.
And were you familiar with at that time where the defendant had been coming from that day?
Yes, my recollection is that she would have been coming from the Stanley area.
And if someone was coming from Stanley, what's the most logical route to take to get to Eau Claire?
Based on where the vehicle was first sighted, the logical exit off of Freeway 53 would have been River Prairie, which connects with Galloway Street.
And would that be a relatively direct route into the city?
Yes, it would.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Showing you, Mr. Streeter, what's been marked for identification as exhibit number 430, which is a full series of photos. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
And is that something you had prepared?
Yes, it is.
All right. And the first page of exhibit number 430, do you see any vehicles in that picture that drew your attention as you reviewed the milestone camera system?
Yes, this appears to be the subject vehicle based on what I knew what it looked like at the intersection of Farwell and Galloway at 10:41 a.m.
Thank you. Your Honor, and is that series of photos, is that all of the photos that you took that deal with that system, that showed the defendant's vehicle?
The series of photos here are in chronological order, and they show the vehicle where it was located on various cameras throughout the city on public space surveillance.
Judge, we have no objection to exhibit 430, all of the photos, and no objection to the publication.
Thank you.
Okay, exhibit 430, and how many, are they on a disc? Is that it?
No, I'm actually going to show it on video format in just a moment, Your Honor.
Okay, so the photos contained in exhibit 430, and how many are there?
65.
How many? 65? Okay, so those photos will be, exhibit 430 will be received.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm showing you what has been marked for identification as Exhibit 534. Does that appear to be a disc that is labeled as being the camera at Farwell and Galloway in the same time period as that first photo on exhibit number 430?
Yes, it is.
All right. Did you review that disc prior to coming in and testifying?
Yes, I did.
And that contains some initials, it looks like?
Yes, those are my initials.
All right, and does that disc accurately depict the view at that camera from approximately 10:41:21 to 10:41:51 on March 22nd of 2018?
It does.
All right, Your Honor, now I move the admission of exhibit number 534 and ask to be able to play that video. I have it on my computer ready to go.
Any objection to 534?
No, Judge, and it's helpful, we have no objection to 534 all the way through 551, and no objection to the publication of the same videos.
Is the state offering those?
Yes, Your Honor, then we will. Those are all the various cameras, so what we'll do is I'll just have them identify each one and play them then, if that's okay with counsel.
All right.
Things along.
Exhibits then 534 through 551 will be received, and they may be published to the jury. You can use, again, your video format.
So if we can switch. And is that the defendant's vehicle we see at the stoplight there to the right?
It is.
And turning to the right?
Turning from Galloway onto Farwell Street.
All right. Counsel, can you see that?
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, can the jury see that, okay? All right. Mr. Streeter, can you step down maybe, and maybe for a little while we'll have you step down. Can you point to where on there we're looking at?
That first location was at Farwell and Galloway Street.
All right. And do you see the location where Alex Woodworth's residence is located on that exhibit?
That'd be closer to Cameron Street and Bellinger Street.
All right, and the direction that we saw the vehicle turn off of Galloway Street would that be heading towards that location of the Alex Woodworth residence?
It would, yes.
All right, thank you. Showing you what has been marked for identification, I may approach, Your Honor. As Exhibit 535, is that the camera located at Madison and is it Bellinger?
Bellinger.
All right.
Again,
and
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we agree to the admissibility of all of those. 534 through 551.
All right,
There's
no,
no
that's fine.
foundation that is necessary. You can certainly go through it, but we're not objecting to any of them.
Okay, they've been received, so however you want to present it.
Right, and that is at the times from 10:43:45 to 10:44:27,
Correct.
and it's okay to just publish them as we move along?
Yes, please, thank you.
So the vehicle's turned from Farwell Street onto Madison Street, is now taking a turn right there to go northbound on Bellinger Street.
All right, and again, is that in the, using the map, can you show us where this is? And can you tell us whether or not that is in the direction towards the Alex Woodworth property?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. If it's helpful, you can put it here. I don't necessarily need to see it. He's welcome to use my pointer, and it's just,
All right, let's move it so it's a little bit easier for everyone here.
So the video we just saw was coming off of Madison Street. You saw initially Galloway to Farwell. This would be the route right here, going to Madison Street and Bellinger Street. So Bellinger is also, Fifth Avenue turns into Bellinger Street, so it's going northbound towards Alex Woodworth's residence.
Thank you. .536, may I approach?
You may.
Showing you what has been marked for identification as Exhibit 536. Is that same camera, Madison and Bellinger?
Yes, it
And
is.
now we're at 10:43:45 to 10:44:27.
Yes.
May I play that one now?
I'm sorry. I thought that was the first one, 10:43 to 10:45.
First one was 10:41.
Yes.
10:41, I'm sorry. No, not Farwell and Galloway.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's just a different camera, I'm sorry.
This is a different camera view of the same intersection, it appears.
I'm sorry, I want
We have it all
536.
written down, I didn't realize that.
Thank you, Counsel, you were right. This is Madison and Bellinger again, but this now is at 10:50 to 10:50:42.
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Counsel. And that is Exhibit 537, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right.
The vehicle is traveling eastbound and turning southbound onto Bellinger Street, which turns into Fifth Avenue.
Stop that now. Is that then, would that be coming in the direction away then from the Alex Woodworth residence?
Correct.
And, yes,
So likely coming from this location on the off-camera view of McCandless Street on the Madison Street and turning to go southbound Fifth Avenue.
and is that then heading in the direction towards Racy's Coffee Shop?
It is, yes. It's right in here.
Okay. Thank you.
You may.
And Your Honor, co-counsel is going to actually play them, so I'm going to kind of stay around here so we can move along a little bit quicker. Showing you what has been marked for identification as Exhibit 539. Is that a camera located at Water and 4th Street?
Yes, it is.
And that is at the time from 10:53:32 to approximately 10:54:02?
It is.
All right. We'll play Exhibit 539, please.
That is the subject vehicle parking in the diagonal parking places next to the Pickle Bar and Tavern.
All right, and where is Racy's in relation? Actually, let's step down, you can stop that now. Can you show us on here where we're seeing that vehicle parking?
Here, and then Grace's is just adjacent to that, so the Pickle will be right at the intersection of 4th and Water. And Grace's is right there.
Okay, great, thank you. And showing you Exhibit 540, is that again that same camera at approximately 10:59:48 and going till 11:01:35.
Yes, it is.
We'll play Exhibit 540, please. So the car is still in the same spot it was in before?
That is correct. And 2 subjects are approaching the vehicle.
That's the vehicle pulling out now?
It is. That is the vehicle turning to go eastbound on Water Street.
And that's to the right?
That is correct.
Okay, you can stop that. And can you show us there on our map then which direction what we're seeing it going towards here?
So here's Water Street right here, so we're going out the intersection here, turning to go eastbound.
All right. And are you familiar with the Max Martinson residence and where that was located at that time?
My understanding is he lived near the Boyd Park area, which is up here, which is in the general direction that that vehicle is going.
All right, thank you. Showing you what has been marked for identification as Exhibit 541. Can you tell us what that is?
It's the intersection of Water Street and First Avenue from 11:01:52 until 11:02:22.
Exhibit 541, please. Thank you.
So this is the vehicle traveling eastbound on Water Street, and then I'll take a left-hand turn to travel north on First Avenue, which is off of camera view now.
Okay, thank you. You can stop it now. Can you show us?
Which is on the what now?
Off of camera view.
Can you show us where that is? And if that is again heading in the direction of the Max Martinson residence.
This would be Water Street right here, and then take a left-hand turn to go northbound on First Avenue toward the Lake Street Bridge.
Exhibit 542, is that Lake and First at approximately 11:03 to 11:03:30?
Yes, it is.
Can we play Exhibit 542, please?
So there's a vehicle on First Avenue, and then turning right to go on the Lake Street Bridge.
Okay, thank you. And can you show us again where that is on our map here?
There's First Avenue, traveling north, and then turn to head east on Lake Street.
Showing you Exhibit 545, can you tell us what that one is?
That is the intersection of Farwell and Lake Street from 11:03:49 until 11:04:19.
You can play Exhibit 545.
And that is a vehicle turning off of Lake Street onto Farwell Avenue, heading northbound.
All right, and if you can show us on here what we're looking at here.
Lake Street, turning left to go northbound on Farwell.
All right, and again, heading in the general direction of the Martinson residence.
Correct, the logical turn would likely be Main Street to get to his residence, which is right after Farwell.
Right. Showing you Exhibit 547. Does that appear to be that same intersection, but now at about 11:10:52, or about 8 minutes later?
Yes, it is.
We play Exhibit 547, please.
There's a vehicle on Farwell Street turning now to go onto Lake Street Bridge.
Is that now going basically the opposite direction of what we just saw?
That is correct.
All right, so coming back from the direction of the Martinson residence, heading back towards Racy's?
Yes, that is correct.
Showing you Exhibit 548. Does that appear to be Water and Fourth at about 11:13:45?
Yes, it is.
All right, play Exhibit 548. So now we're back in the area of Racy's. Mr. Street, are we back in the area of Racy's?
Yes, we are. This is the intersection of Fourth and Water again. And there's the vehicle turning off of Water Street back into the area toward Racy's, which is in the alleyway off of camera view.
Okay. And that was about almost 11:14.
Yes, that's correct.
Showing you exhibit number 549. Is this again Water and Fourth? A couple minutes later at about 11:16 a.m.?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, exhibit 549.
Is the vehicle approaching the intersection again? And we'll take a left-hand turn to head west on Water Street.
All right. And last one of these. Can you show us on, this is 419C, where are we seeing here?
So this is the area races right here, and that vehicle will turn to go on Water Street here, heading west, and then approaching the Fifth Avenue, which is off camera view.
All right. And finally, exhibit number 550, is that again back at Madison and Bellinger Street?
Yes, it is.
And that's at approximately 11:18:50 to 11:19:32.
Yes, that is correct.
Could you clear that?
There's a vehicle traveling northbound on Bellinger Street, crossing Madison.
And again, heading in the direction of Alex Woodworth's residence.
Yes, that is correct.
You can switch off the camera now. I'm going to leave that up for the moment. You talked about the most direct route from Alex Woodworth's residence to the location where his body is found. Are there any additional milestone cameras on that route that we're talking about, or were there at least as of March 22nd of 2018?
No, there were not.
And are you familiar with the location of Owen Park?
Yes, I am.
All right. Could you step down and show us on the map Owen Park?
Owen Park is off of First Avenue.
Right. And are you familiar with whether or not there would be additional cameras if someone went on any reasonable route between Alex Woodworth's residence and Owen Park?
Yes, the most reasonable route would have, again, crossed the camera of the last view that we saw at Madison Bellinger. There would be another camera at 5th and Water Street. Sorry, right down here, 5th and Water Street. And then again at 4th and Water Street. And then as we took that turn from Water Street onto First Avenue again, which is the intersection of Owen Park, there was another camera view. And an alternate route would have been taking Lake Street. They would have had to also cross another camera at that intersection around Lake and First.
Did you check those cameras in the time after 1 o'clock when Alex Woodworth was last seen at his residence?
Yes.
Did you see that vehicle that we've seen on these other videos on any of those cameras during that time frame? All right. I have no further questions for Mr. Streeter.
All right, are you, Mr. Nelson, you ready? You can do cross-examination. Do you want the easel in the same place? That's fine.
Mr. Streeter, you were a detective in Eau Claire Police
Yes.
Department, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
It sounds like you're pretty, in general, familiar with the outline of this case, is that right?
Yes.
You were familiar with the investigation done by others in your department that saw Ezra and Alex at his apartment at approximately 12:50 on that day, is that right?
Yes.
It's going to be precariously balanced. Sure, I'm going to write it and I'll show you that there. I wrote down on here at 12:50, Ezra and Alex were at Alex's apartment on Cameron Street. Is that accurate?
It's my understanding, yes.
And then, again, just rough details. approximately 4:15 in the afternoon, there was a 911 call from Don Sipple's house. Is that right?
That's my understanding, yes.
And are you familiar with the people who showed up at Don Sipple's after the fact, just roughly?
Yes,
There was, I believe, Trooper Knutson, is that right?
I'm not aware of who immediately responded to that from
Okay.
the initial Dunn County call, only those from my department that followed up after.
Oh, okay. So you don't know who was there on March 22nd?
Not from Dunn County response, no.
Okay, or from the State Patrol?
Correct.
Okay. You don't know if there was any recordings here of what Ezra was doing in that time, do you?
I'm not aware.
And you're not aware of anything that happened between 12:50 and 4:15, correct?
Correct.
You're here to tell us about where Ezra drove prior to getting to Alex, to seeing the police at 12:50, right?
Correct.
But you're not here with all of that technology to talk at all about any of the recordings of her at Don Sipple's house,
Correct.
just beforehand?
That is correct.
I've not.
David, you're right.
No.
Okay, well then, officer, I don't know if it's officer now, Agent Streeter, what do you?
Special agent, yep.